Hello, and welcome to Psyched for Sanity. I'm one of your hosts, Dr. Brindle Doss. I'm a licensed psychologist specializing in forensic and clinical psychology with areas of forensic psychology, geriatrics, child treatment, and assessment.
And I'm Dr. Tara McKelvey Parker. I am also one of your hosts and a licensed clinical psychologist. I specialize in assessing and treating complex trauma and attachment wounds from childhood. And this has been a morning.
It's been a morning.
I think both of us have lots of wrenches in the plans.
Wrenches in the plans?
For today.
What does that mean?
Bumps in the road? Am I messing
Yeah. I don't know what wrenches in the plans are.
You know when you throw wrenches in things, then you've not heard that saying? Am I making that up?
I think you just conflated two different sayings.
Oh, it's been a morning is what I'm saying. My brain is not here. It's halfway gone. But we were commiserating about our kids. We're doing another child development episode today. And so we were just sort of commiserating about our mornings with our kids today. Yep. I am perpetually surprised by school holidays. I literally... And there must be something I like about it because I have not changed this habit. I don't look at the calendars in advance. So I'm just literally surprised by a school holiday yesterday at 5 p.m.
But I feel like there's several areas of life that you just don't do. You're like, oh, that's a thing that exists. And yes.
It did not occur to me until the other day when a friend told me, she was like, I look at all the school holidays in advance and I put them on my calendar. And I was like,
that's smart.
That seems like a good thing.
That's a good idea.
Because I'm perpetually surprised by school holidays. So we had to record this morning.
Yes, we're recording today. We're recording right now.
And I have my 4-year-old daughter.
You have a child, indeed.
That needs care, and she has no school.
She needs care.
None of the family members were available.
Right.
So I was like, what am I going to do with her? And I was going to bring her here and give her a movie and be like...
Child Development Live.
Just
that would be a whole different podcast.
Go over there and watch a movie and don't talk to me.
Right.
But I felt like that might be tricky with a 4-year-old.
My
tricky. Daughter in particular, because she likes to be interactive.
She's especially you. She definitely likes to be with you.
She likes to be with me. She does love movies, though. So I thought it was a gamble. It's 50-50. So I realized I had passed by this drop-in sort of daycare center by my house before. And I remembered it. And I was like, I'm going to just see how my daughter will do going there. And she's pretty shy. She's pretty cautious.
Right, reserved.
She's reserved. She doesn't typically love new people right away. She does warm up.
Neither of our daughters are go with the flow people.
They're not go with the flow. They're pretty sensitive,
yes,
strong-willed, I think. Yep. Anyway, so it was so, and I've never dropped her off at any place like this. All of her school and her care has been pretty consistent, the same people. And I do this purposefully because she does have this temperament. So it's good for her to have routine and structure. But it's also good to challenge these kids to do something new.
Right.
And if I could get her to like this place, then I could use their services more because it's drop-in and you just pay by the hour.
Love it.
So I was like, I'm just going to take her for it. It was 5 o'clock. I pick up my daughter from school and I'm like, let's just swing by and do a tour. Because at the very least, then she can lay her eyes on the space and maybe see a teacher, familiar face. And maybe I could do it. And I'm like... So we're going to the daycare center, and she's super shy, and she's not looking at anyone and not engaging. I'm like,
sure.
Great, this is a good sign, sarcastically, in my brain. And then we leave, and she's like, I wanted to stay and play, and I'm like, oh,
what?
I guess you liked it then. So this morning, I was panicking last night, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to take her.
We're going to do it.
We're just going to do it.
We're just going to do it. Yep.
I'm going to do it.
Do it.
So I prepared her and told her what we're doing when I'm picking her up, and she was like, "Cool, yeah, I'm gonna go." I'm like, "Who is this kid?" This morning,
where are you and what are you doing, my child?
This morning I was super nervous, but I was taking deep breaths and I was trying to hype it up for her, and she was ready to go. She was she said, "I got this." I'm like, "Okay, girl, you're feeling yourself."
I love this. She's
you're
I got
feeling
this.
yourself because this is not always the case. Some mornings she wakes up and I'm literally "Are you possessed by a demon?"
Right.
Grumpy. So I was like, okay. So we go, and I'm waiting for her to scream or protest or cling to me and refuse to go. And I'd already prepped myself. If this happens, I'm going. She's going to be safe.
Yeah.
The daycare workers will handle it. I am not traumatizing her. So this is all my fear and anxiety. I'm just really trying to hype myself up.
And you did a great job.
She did not care, ladies and gentlemen. She went She had her little blankie and her stuffed animals. She left.
She was fine.
Willingly.
She's like, peace out.
Yeah. And then I ran. I ran as fast as I could to my car just in case she changed her mind. But she didn't. And I called a bit ago and she's totally fine talking to everyone, playing. And I'm just like,
make sure you bring home the right child, because now it's going to be hard to tell her apart.
It just feels good because some days it is incredibly hard and I worry about her and she's, more cautious or whatever. And I know like she'll get there in her own time, but it's hard. And so
when they're in distress, it's so hard for us to be like,
well, and I'm like, okay, like she can't do it. Like, she's going to freak out. Like this makes me, I'm feeling guilty and all the things, but it felt really good to know that she's okay and she did it. And it was like a challenge and it was kind of a gamble for me to stretch her, but she did great. And I'm just like proud of her and proud of me.
I'm proud of both of you. And I'm glad you had a good morning.
I know, and I know you didn't. So I'm like, I
am grumpy.
This is like really not super typical either, because I feel like I'm usually the one that's like, nah, 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 and you're like,
I'm like, we worked through it. No, we didn't work through it today, guys. Didn't work through it. Someone, not to name any names, but my kid. I was so proud. I woke up on time for recording today. I got dressed and I got ready. And I'm normally in my family like the one that can keep we can be running late because of me.
Okay.
Full on transparency.
Yeah.
But we had to drop off the kids with my dad. And this is a standard thing for her entire life. Every certain days of the week.
Yeah. This is not a new thing for her.
Since she was in a carrier,
mm-hmm.
my father has been taking his grandchild and grandchildren on certain days.
Yeah.
This is not new. But today, this is what happened. She didn't eat enough of her breakfast. She was refusing her breakfast. And then she lost her ever-loving bananas because...
Her ever-loving bananas.
Yeah. I'm not trying to curse. I don't get in trouble with Chris, the editor. Hey, Chris. Shout out. Love you, buddy. I don't want to make his job harder. She literally lost her bananas today because she couldn't watch TV first this afternoon. Short backstory. For our kids, we let them watch in the mornings if they're home. She goes first and my son goes second. In the mornings, in the afternoons, he goes first and she goes second for fairsies.
Two children problems.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they each get one show, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, and then that's the screen time for it today. But she, for some reason, because she was hungry for a reason, lost her ever-loving mind because she was not going to get to go first this afternoon, which she never does. She never does. But she threw off the whole family this morning, and I left my amazing, wonderful coffee at home.
It's very disappointing when you have that cup of coffee that you've made just the way you want it.
Exactly.
And then you leave
and that you've already paid for.
Well, yes, that especially.
And then on the way here, not one, but two different coffee shops were out of order for some reason, which should be against the law.
That's actually really crazy, and it blows my mind. Yeah.
I mean, yes. Yeah. So I arrived here in quite a state. I'm in a state.
We're like an hour behind schedule today. Because of
not
because of her, just because of I think the state of things.
It was just it's just one of those mornings. It's really,
child development. I mean, last time we talked about ages 3 to 5, and that's where our kids currently are, and that
mine's on the cusp.
Yeah, sort of younger developmental phase.
This is what's coming for me next year when she turns 6.
Yes, but 6 to 9 is what we wanted to do next, because that's where we're headed. And if you're anything,
and what we're afraid of.
Exactly. If you're anything like us and you're anxious about your kids and doing well enough for them, then this will be helpful, because that's the reason why we wanted to do these episodes. Because if you know more about child development and what is typical or normal for certain ages,
makes it less scary.
When they say the thing or do the thing and you're like, oh my gosh, is there something wrong? You can be like, no.
They're supposed to be.
They're supposed to be doing this. They're supposed to be saying this.
Absolutely.
And it's actually really super normal.
And not only normal, but typical. And it's literally, sometimes I think it's helpful for parents to hear, they're supposed to struggle.
Yes.
They're supposed to be intentional. They're not trying to be jerks on purpose, but they're supposed to have moments of being jerks.
Yeah, it's all development. Because it's all about learning. It's all about learning and developing skills.
And they do that within homes and families.
Yeah, and within themselves.
Yes.
So, 3 to 5, there was a lot of it. We talked a lot about inconsistency with development. Ages 6 to 9, and that way is a little easier.
Okay, more structured.
A little bit more consistent within their domains of development.
Gotcha.
And also, we're not quite as, it's not quite as focused on the big feelings like we kind of emphasize 3 to 5. These kids still have big feelings, but they're able to participate and regulate a little bit more. So there are some differences in a positive direction, but this age range definitely comes with
its own challenges.
So
what's the core thing that this age range is wrestling with?
So we talked about Erickson last time.
Yes, we did.
Ages 3 to 5 was Can I Try? All about sort of acting on the world in a lot of different ways, trying, experimenting. Ages 6 to 9, the core developmental question becomes, can I succeed?
Am I capable?
Am I capable? So kids this age become very focused naturally on achievement, mastery, learning skills. And so, because they're entering school,
school is more structured now if they've been in school, like more formalized.
Yeah, they're learning reading, they're learning writing, they're learning friendships, they're learning hobbies.
Right.
So they're really focused on achievement and competence and mastery and learning new skills.
Right.
So if a kid can sort of successfully get through this developmental stage.
What's the stage called, just to make sure we talk about that real quick?
It's called industry versus inferiority.
Right.
So if they successfully make it through this stage, then they have industry, which is the capacity to try something.
This is so huge.
And to be able to succeed in a way that makes them feel capable.
Right.
They start thinking, oh, like my effort matters. I can do this.
Right.
Like I got this.
This is such an important thing. And I think this is such a huge thing that I preach across the ages, even with people that are adults that did not receive this. The concept that their behavior matters and that they can handle whatever happens to them and that they can impact the world. So I think this is such a huge, critical time.
It really is. And I think
that sets the stage.
Sets the stage for their sort of budding self-esteem.
Right.
And like confidence.
Yes.
And industry or agency.
Right.
So if a kid, though, doesn't sort of get through this developmental phase successfully, air quotes, whatever, then it means that they start developing this idea that I can't do it.
Right.
This is too hard. Other people are better than me.
Or that they don't feel like their behavior matters or that they can make a difference or like it doesn't matter what I do.
Yeah, exactly. And this can come, if a kid sort of is unsuccessful, it can stem from excessive criticism.
Right. Or being rescued by a parent.
Yes. And we'll talk about this a little bit later. But yes, when parents sort of rescue and don't really let their kids struggle. But and believe me, I understand that because it comes from a place of anxiety. And I've been there. But yes, definitely chronic failure. And this happens a lot with kiddos who do have like kiddos with like learning differences, potentially that kind of thing at school, maybe could, more likely have like more failure in some academic areas. And so without the right support, they can
the right reframe about maybe this is not your strength, but other things are, or maybe
reframe, right support, like all the things, and they can start to really feel incompetent. Also things like, unrealistic expectations.
Yes.
Then kiddos kind of feel like they can never quite be good enough. So,
or how they do, if like, let's say, I think we talked about this at the younger developmental point, but when your toddler is doing something they do it horribly wrong, like they make more of a mess, but they're trying to learn something.
Yeah.
There's the criticism component, but also I think in this stage, your kids obviously may be getting better at sweeping the floor with a chore.
Yeah.
But if you rush in and fix their mistakes in front of them, or highlight how it's not done exactly to your standards, that can be, even if you're not directly criticizing them. I think when I hear criticism, I see a parent be like, da. Maybe you're not doing that. Yeah. But maybe you're kind of like
overcorrecting or really trying to do it your kind of way or being controlling or what, in a variety of ways. And so when we go through this, we'll talk through some examples like that, but it is really helpful to be able to step back and allow your kid to learn and maybe scaffold or kind of guide or, but kind of let them make mistakes and mess it up.
I try to tell people this is called learning. It's not called knowing.
Exactly. But like the messing up can be challenging. For me, that's hard. Like with
For a lot of people.
Yeah, the messing and the messiness that comes with messing up, right?
Right.
I'm like picturing my daughter trying to learn how to like get water out of the refrigerator and it's like spilling all over the floor. And I'm like,
I think there's a lot of videos of a parent like in the background freaking out and the kids pouring milk all over the countertop.
and then like you could kind of guide depending on whatever. But yes, scaffolding and helping. So that's the main developmental question, task, goal. So let's go through talking maybe through some of these domains of development and talk about what's normative and when a parent might be like concerned enough to seek support potentially, and kind of talk through how you can help them reach industry in all of these different ways. Sure. Okay.
What first domains do you want to cover first?
Let's do executive function.
Yeah. So
executive function.
In this area, there's more ability. As we go on, there are some, like, you are slowly leveling up, but they still are going to be disorganized. They're still going to need structure and reminders.
Yeah, still messy.
And their attention's still going to be very variable at times.
Pretty, I mean, I would say limited and variable for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's super common still in this age range, 6 to 9, to have messy folders, to have messy backpacks, to have messy rooms, to have a hard time following 3 or 4 step commands.
Losing things.
Yeah. Definitely. Now, yeah, I mean, they are kind of leveling up, so it's not going to be like 3 to 5 years.
Right, they can handle those 2-step directions.
They can handle the 2-step directions a little bit easier, but they still need frequent reminders for things. So you mentioned routine and structure. So in order to help them, because you are at this stage, parents are needing to be much more involved in coaching and helping them learn skills. So with executive function, this is a skill that kids actually need help developing.
Sure.
Okay.
And I think when we talk about coaching or like things like that, the way I like to help people say it is like first modeling, which means showing them, and then letting them try, and then supporting them as they fail and learn.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to be talking about coaching or modeling and all of that stuff throughout because it's super important. So for executive functioning here, yeah, exactly. You're really wanting to create, spaces for things like a backpack hook. Like these important items go in particular places is an example, or having like checklists for chores.
Okay.
And, you maybe would have like 2 or 3 chores at this point.
Right.
So it's sort of limited, visual, concrete, in terms of some of these structures or routines to kind of help them start developing executive function skills.
What about the social emotional domain? I think that's such a fascinating because there's so many complex things happening.
Yeah.
And I think for a parent, I've worked with a lot of kids in this age range.
Yeah.
It can feel really overwhelming for parents because there's a lot of friend drama.
There's a lot of friend drama. I did
there's
not
a lot of complex
actually
emotions.
Really know this one. I hadn't really considered this quite as much, this friendship piece.
Okay.
Apparently, at this age, it's so relationships become increasingly meaningful, like social friendships do for ages 6 to 9.
Yes.
So then there's a lot more friendship drama. There's a lot more friendship conflict. There's a lot more, I don't like him, or so-and-so didn't want to play with me today, and they're not my friend anymore.
They're also super sensitive to being feeling left out or excluded.
Yes. Fairness is a really big one at this age range. Very concerned about things being fair.
Yep.
So kids this age are starting to learn conflict resolution.
Beginnings.
They're starting to learn how to take other people's perspective.
Yes, that comes towards the end of the stage, I would say.
Yeah, so it's just budding. They're starting to sort of like kind of get cooperative play.
Right.
And this, of course, we're talking 6 to 9, so we're going to get increasingly stronger in this skill.
A 6-year-old is going to look vastly different than a 9-year-old.
Definitely. That's supposed to be the case. And so it is really, because those skills are emerging and because friendships are so much more important, there's just a lot more big feelings around social relationships, around friendships. And so when I was researching and I thought about that, I was like, oh, that was super helpful for me, because I think if my daughter came home and she started having friendship problems, I would be concerned.
Right.
Be like, oh my gosh, like.
But no, they're supposed to wrestle with this.
They're supposed to. This is totally normal.
Right.
So
I think another big area that is that people bring their kids in a lot is self-esteem.
Yeah,
and
self-esteem.
negative self-talk.
I think that's another one. When I was researching, it was actually pretty helpful for me to normalize or to think about how this piece is normal, the negative self-talk, because in my psychologist brain, if I'm hearing
we're
that
very concerned about self-esteem with psychology.
Yeah.
We worry about it.
We would like for people to have healthy, positive self-esteem because it is really nice to think highly of yourself.
It's really important to.
And it's really hard to not.
Right. But this is where the seeds of this self-concept and self-belief develop. So they're supposed to.
They're supposed to struggle with their self-esteem because they're just developing it. So it's totally normal for them.
It's typical.
Yeah. At this age, because of all of the learning and the mastery and achievement focus, they become really way more focused on comparison.
Comparison.
I'm
not good enough.
Like they're better than me. I'm not good at that. Like, oh, I'm stupid. Those
a lot
are
of
actually quite common statements for this age range.
And it's an easy parent trap to fall into. Lindsay Lohan. What?
That was okay.
What?
Nothing.
Okay. It's a parent trap.
Yeah, I got it.
It's a different one than the movie, but it's a parent trap. Oh, I'm so stupid. No, you're not.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Okay. So
parent trap.
Parent trap. So with this social, and this sort of self-esteem stuff, we want to recognize that it's normal.
Right.
B, recognize that this is actually just asking the question underneath these statements that your kid is asking is,
what are they really wanting?
Am I capable?
Can I handle this?
Can I handle this? Can I do this? So try not to let your fear make you jump in to rescue and be like, no, you're so smart. What are you talking about? So-and-so loves you. All the things that you would want to say.
Right, that sound like they're good things to say as a parent, and it's the parent trap.
Because then you you're kind of not able to then use the moment as a teaching lesson.
Right.
Right? So in these moments, like what the literature really shows is most helpful is to sort of reflect, this is really hard. This is really hard, honey. And you're still learning. So it's going to be really hard. And it's okay.
Right.
And you can do hard things.
Yeah. How can people respond to the she's better than me, or like I'm not good at she's way better at art, or he's better at math, or how can that not fall into that trap? Because that's tricky for me.
Putting me on the spot. So at this age, kids equate, Jill is better than me at soccer to I am bad at soccer.
Right.
So
it's a lot of black and white thinking.
A lot of black and white thinking, right? And a lot of like not being able to understand nuance and, really kind of like concrete.
Sure.
So I would always suggest starting with reflecting the feeling. That's really sad, honey. Tell me more, right? That's how I buy time. To be honest, if my kids or patients sometimes will have like a really kind of big, I kind of like, the space helps me organize enough to be able to be like, okay, don't jump in. Because I want to jump in and I want to rescue. That's my tendency to do.
Sure.
But yeah, tell me more. That's really sad. You're still learning, baby. You're still learning.
Right. You're
still getting good at soccer. You can, right? Like, I think reinforcing always that just, it's, you're like, the reality is maybe
they're not
your
good at soccer.
Not good at soccer.
Yeah, we're not going to lie.
Or maybe they're like not as good as Jill. That's okay.
That's okay.
Honey, if this is important to you and you want to do it and you want to get better, like, hey,
you can do that.
You can do it. We can practice, honey, and I'll be here to help you in any way that I can. It's just like recognizing that, like, it's okay if your kid's not good at everything, and it's okay if they're struggling, and
it's not realistic.
They're learning skills.
And this is so huge. It sounds sort of silly to say. Try not to lie to your kids.
Try not to.
Because this is why. I cannot tell you the number of kids I've seen in my short, mini professional career, 10 years, whatever, so far, where kids will come in my office and it's just me and the kid. And even younger children were like, yeah, mom lied to me, or I know dad was lying when he said this. Like, they know. Oh. Kids are not dumb. They are just young. But they are aware when we are trying to smooth things over to make them feel better in a way that is not accurate. You know, like they get that, I think.
I think they can sense it. Sure. Yeah. And it's, to be fair, I do feel like most of us feel like, the maybe like sun shines out of our children. Like we do like look at them and think they're like the most amazing, great. And
They
like,
are.
Yes, it is. So there's nothing wrong with being biased and thinking that of your children. But yes, we want to be like, we really just want to set realistic expectations and sort of, help really like in this stage, really emphasize
works, what helps.
that we're just focusing on learning skills, and it makes sense that you're having a hard time, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And like, we're just going to practice, honey, if this is important to you.
If you care about this.
If you care about it. And that I think is an important distinction for me to be able to set up with my kids, because I want them to feel motivated to try hard things in ways that they want to.
And try hard things and know it's okay to fail. That's one thing I have to really work on with my kid, because she's already displaying like
some kind of perfectionism.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it is, I tell her, I said, in this kind of situation, perfect is not real. Like this is not, there might be a perfect moment or maybe a perfect feeling.
It just matters a lot to her.
It matters a lot. But I don't want her to be blocked by trying to be aiming for perfection, because that is a problem, problematic.
Yeah, definitely. I think we should probably do an episode on perfectionism at some point. Yay! I think that would be actually a pretty good idea.
Yeah, it would be.
Coming from some...
Who needs to work on perfectionism?
Who
needs to work on that?
Of course, we have children who are like that.
It's not me, guys. It's not me.
We try really hard, but it is impossible not to impact our kids and to have everything like figured out, and for them to not be budding perfectionists.
Right.
So, but to a degree, at this age, that perfectionism is a bit more typical.
It's developmentally normal.
So
Absolutely.
It may just be something she's working through.
Right.
So at this stage, they're struggling and they're working through a lot. And so we just don't want alarm bells to go off and for you to feel.
When should alarm bells go off for parents of kids in this age across the domains we've talked about so far?
So throughout these domains, as we discussed, you want to be thinking about, is it pervasive?
Okay.
Meaning, is it present in multiple settings?
Church, school, and home.
Yeah. So if your kid was like really socially isolated and had a hard time engaging, is that happening like
everywhere?
Everywhere?
Yeah.
Because then it's a bit more of a concern.
Yeah.
If you're just seeing it at school or just seeing it at home, then there may be something going on in those settings.
And that's saying that's eliciting that experience.
That's eliciting the experience.
Okay.
Is it persistent? So
ongoing.
Right. Not something that's after a big transition, because kiddos go nuts after transitions.
Sure.
Something that's occurring for months at a time.
Right.
That's pretty persistent, not intermittent.
Well, it's more than a week.
It's definitely more than a week. We're talking months.
Months.
And then, is it impairing? So is it actually impacting in a negative way their functioning? Is it getting in the way of them building relationships?
Or learning skills?
Or learning relationships. Is it getting in the way of them learning at school?
Right.
Right. So when we talk about attention.
Yep. This is a big age range.
6 to 9-year-olds, their attention's not good.
Right.
Now, by the time we get to 8, 9, it's getting a little bit better. And if compared to everyone else in their class, they're really having a hard time focusing, they can't learn.
Yes.
Well, okay, then that's different. That's different. So that's when we are concerned.
Right.
And then within each domain, when you do teach skills, if they're not able to progress, then it starts to become okay, maybe there's something else going on here.
Sure.
We need to evaluate or check it out.
Okay.
So just to close the loop on the relationship piece, on the social functioning, we were talking about how parents can help. And I wanted to emphasize in this section too, to really think about coaching social skills. I think this is hard. This is something that I have to do more intentionally. It's harder for me to just naturally remember. But if a kiddo is coming to you with a relationship problem, like that friendship drama, similar to when they're struggling with self-esteem, try not to get in there and rescue and give advice as much as listen.
Validate.
And put it back on them. What do you think you're going to do about that? Right? Yeah. We want to start putting it back on them to develop. Yeah. Or what could you do?
What are your options?
Or, with the self-esteem stuff, right? If they say, I'm bad at this, is there another possibility?
Right.
Or encouraging them to think about their friendship drama and how they may want to handle it. And of course, again, we're talking about scaffolding this up. So a 6-year-old's not going to do this as well as a 9-year-old.
9-year-olds are much better at this.
But you can start giving them suggestions. Well,
Yeah.
maybe you could ask them to play again tomorrow.
Or maybe you can say, I don't like when you talk to me that way.
Yeah. Or maybe you can say, stop, please. I don't like that.
Right.
So you're sort of giving them options and coaching them.
Right.
And this is the case, for all of
Sure.
them.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I think the big thing that I keep coming back to is at the end of each of these coaching elements or scaffolding, one thing I try to do, even with my 5-year-old, is say, well, I trust your judgment. I know you can handle what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't leave her without any suggestions or feedback.
Yeah, she would probably need some options or suggestions or feedback still, but
obviously
you're wanting to communicate that you got this.
But towards the end of this kind of scaffolding experience, when I'm kind of helping her work through a problem or a situation, after there's validation and support, I say, well, I trust your judgment. I know you can handle this. That is, to me, during this stage, the biggest gift.
Yes, because we really want to praise and lend our confidence in areas like judgment,
right,
strategy, effort,
right.
So we want to really praise those qualities,
right,
to really boost that self-esteem. So less wow, you're so smart, and more wow, you really care about that,
right?
And
that's
you're
important to
really
you.
trying hard. You did not give up even when that was hard, or I trust your judgment. I know you can figure this out.
And because I think it covers so many domains, whether it's schoolwork, friendships, confidence,
all the things.
I believe in your capacity to handle whatever happens to you.
Well, and it's directly tying back to that question: am I capable?
Am I capable? And the answer is,
can I be successful? So
yes.
we want to really focus on the qualities
that
really do promote success.
Yeah.
Which is persistence.
Yeah.
Frustration tolerance, figuring out a way.
Problem solving.
Right? Problem solving.
Critical thinking.
Exactly. Judgment, trusting one's instinct and judgment and feelings.
Yeah. And then if it goes south or doesn't work, or there's failure, which is also called learning, being able to go from there and do the next step.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I think that's all. It's all true. And I think it is very, I find this a little more challenging because of my own nervousness or anxiety around failure.
Right.
And so I have to watch, I have to really watch myself.
You and I are yin and yang on this.
Yeah.
I had a very intentional female parent growing up that from a very young age, kind of aggressively, maybe a tad aggressively, told me that I was very capable and I could handle whatever happened to me.
Yeah.
So much so that on my tombstone, not only will my name be there, but also the word determined.
That's the thing about this stuff, guys, is what you say to your kids matters, and it gets internalized. And this is her internal working model of her competence.
I feel, yes, exactly.
Whereas mine is very hard earned.
You have hard earned.
I have to tell those things do not come as naturally to me.
Right.
So I have a lot of anxiety about failure. Which I'm trying really hard not to pass on to my kid by over rescuing, right? Or thinking everything is a problem, which is why I wanted to do these episodes.
Yeah, I still think I have anxiety around new things that are challenging, but I think there's still this persistent belief
that you can do it and you're capable.
That even if I fail, I'm going to handle the failure.
And that, my friends, is industry. She is an industry. I'm still working. I'm still working on industry.
You are very industrious.
Well, I am, yes, but I don't always have that sort of internal, stable sense of I can do it.
Sure.
And I can handle failure and that piece.
Okay.
So before we're done, let's touch on emotion regulation, because I feel like this is a big one that we kind of just do need to cover for a few minutes.
Sure.
And then we'll wrap up, because I know we're getting short on time. Emotion regulation is another real big one here.
Okay.
Kiddos at this age range, they still need a lot of help from parents, but they can participate more in their own emotion regulation. So kids still depend on co-regulation, meaning you breathe, you stay calm, you stay confident. They borrow
that calmness
and confidence. Okay. So they still need it. They still need your empathy and validation and support, but because they have more language skills,
they can reason through things a little better.
They can logic through things a little bit better. They're also more socially and emotionally aware.
Yes.
So they can talk and they can start to practice skills
Yes.
on their own.
Okay.
Okay. Whereas like 3 to 5, like they literally
Nothing,
needed
yeah.
your body to be able to calm down. They cannot
Right,
really
right,
very
right.
well do skills in the moment. 6 to 9-year-olds can now kind of practice deep breathing on their own.
Yes.
Right. They may practice being able to sort of like calm themselves down with your help and coaching.
Yeah.
You know, and they also are very aware at this stage, more than the earlier stage, how you're coping, like the parent, the adults
what we are
around them,
modeling.
how they're coping with their own emotions.
Yeah.
So you do see a lot more mimicking here. So if you are mad and yelling,
They'll be mad and yelling.
they're going to be mad and yelling.
Okay.
Because that is how they learn.
Right.
They're starting to learn
Right.
emotion regulation skills. So we want to continue practicing what we were for ages 3 to 5.
Yeah.
But now we're kind of like making them a little bit more of an active agent in their own
Just
emotion
a little
regulation.
more onus on them.
Yeah. So like, oh, you're so, once you lend your co-regulation and your empathy and validation and whatever.
How
and
would you like to calm down? What can you do?
Yeah. What can you do? Or if, after they've come out of it, hey, what do you think you could do next time if you're feeling really mad? And they can just participate more in that kind of stuff and really take it in and learn.
Okay.
So.
What are you taking away today from our conversation around this period about which we are about to enter?
We're about to enter. I'm feeling more confident.
Good.
So that's nice.
I love that.
I do really, it was helpful for me to learn that a lot of this stuff and these statements are normative, because I think definitely my anxious brain would have, if my daughter were saying these things, been like, all the things like, I'm a terrible mom and my daughter's not okay, because those are my deepest fears. But this is helpful. It's helpful.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just taking away how critical it is to express belief in our kids.
Yeah.
And I don't think I always knew that, like, overarching through childhood, but specifically during this developmental phase, I think it is so crucial to let them struggle appropriately and not rescue, and then express belief in their capacity to handle whatever happens to them.
Yeah, with appropriate, I think, coaching and scaffolding and expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can handle it.
They can maybe get through it successfully and be an industry. Oh, also, though, one last thing.
Okay.
You can always successfully get through these developmental phases. So I wanted to lend some hope.
Yeah.
If you are recognizing potentially that your kid, is maybe outside this age range and is in
Still
inferiority or struggling with some of these things,
okay,
it is absolutely possible
to catch up.
Right. So you can always start by, if you can think in your brain as a parent, oh, my kid is still actually in this phase, they didn't successfully get through it. Focus on the skills we're talking about now in this episode and use them.
And that will help them.
For your older kid, your 10, 11, 12. They're just sort of
they still apply.
They still
as you
apply.
Get older. Yeah.
Well, as you get older, but also if you're kind of like stunted in a developmental phase, and that's kind of what happens if we don't get through it successfully. Right. We kind of need to get
just caught up.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let us know in the comments what you think about this exciting developmental phase that we're about to enter into, and pray for us. This podcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only and is not a substitute for therapy, diagnosis, or any kind of professional mental health treatment. We hope that we can share with you our experience authentically and genuinely, and we hope that occasionally we'll make you laugh. Maybe you can relate to our quest and how we're psyched for sanity. The content we share is our personal opinions and insights. They are not clinical insights to anyone, and they don't represent or reflect any entity that we work and or have worked for in the past. But if listening to this podcast has made you think, we really encourage you to seek out a mental health professional in your area.